The pen felt heavier than it should. My hand hovered over the line that would erase 7 years of my life. "Ethan, is to sign it," Olivia said, her tone calm, almost rehearsed. I looked up. "You sound like we're finalizing a business deal." "That's what this marriage became," she replied. "A contract that expired long ago." I laughed quietly. "Expired? You make it sound like love has a shelf life." She crossed her arms. "Love dies when it's trapped." "I'm tired of being trapped." "Trapped," I repeated, nodding slowly. "Right. Because living in a house I built with a man who gave you everything was prison." Her eyes narrowed. "You gave me a house, Ethan, not happiness." My jaw tightened. "And Ryan will give you that?" "Happiness." She didn't flinch. "Ryan understands me." The name tasted like poison. "He understood me too, once." "You're twisting it," she said, picking up her purse. "This isn't about betrayal. It's about freedom." "Freedom," I echoed, setting the pen down. "You really believe walking away makes you free?" "I know it does." Silence filled the room. The clock ticked louder than it should. Her perfume, the same one from our wedding night, filled the air. I used to love that scent. Now it made my chest tighten. I forced a smile. "So this is what it looks like, huh? Freedom with designer shoes and someone else's name on your lips?" She sighed. "You always use sarcasm when you're hurt. Maybe because it's the only thing left that doesn't break me." Her voice softened. "Ethan, don't make this harder than it already is." I stared at the papers again. "Harder, Olivia? You spent months preparing for this? You made it easy. Cold, but easy." She hesitated. "We stopped being right for each other a long time ago." "Maybe," I whispered, "but you didn't have to stop being loyal." Her expression changed. Guilt flickered, then vanished. "You'll thank me one day." "For what?" "For burning down what we built? For letting us both breathe again." I signed the papers. The pen scratched the page like it was cutting through skin. I pushed them toward her. "There. You're free." She took them, eyes unreadable. "Thank you." "Don't thank me," I said quietly. "You'll regret it." She paused at the door. "I won't. You always did hate being wrong." Her lips curved faintly. "Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Olivia." She left without looking back. The door clicked shut, and the scent of her perfume lingered like a ghost refusing to leave. For a long time, I didn't move. The clock kept ticking, mocking me with every second that passed since she walked out. My chest felt hollow, but my face stayed calm. I'd promised myself I wouldn't give her the satisfaction of watching me fall apart. The front door creaked open again. Not Olivia's heels this time, but lighter steps. "Ethan." Sophie's voice broke the silence. I didn't look up. "She's gone." Sophie walked closer. I saw her car in the driveway. "You finally signed?" "Yeah," I said. "It's official. She's free now." Her hand touched my shoulder. "You okay?" I gave a short laugh. "Do I look okay?" She sat beside me. "No, you look like someone who just lost everything." "I didn't lose everything," I said quietly. "Just what I thought mattered." "You still loved her," she said softly. "I did." "That's the problem." Sophie leaned forward. "Then let yourself be angry. Yeah, I'll break something. Don't just sit here pretending you're fine." I met her eyes. "If I start breaking things, Sophie, I won't stop until everything's gone." She didn't reply. The silence between us said enough. After a while, she asked, "Do you regret signing it?" I looked at the papers on the table, her signature above mine. "No," I said. I regret believing she wouldn't. Asterisk, Sophie sighed. "You deserve better than this, Ethan." "Better doesn't exist," I said. "There's just what's left." She squeezed my hand. "Then rebuild what's left. Don't let her define how this ends." Her words hung in the air. Rebuild. The idea sounded foreign, almost laughable. I looked toward the door, the same door Olivia had walked through minutes ago. "Freedom," she called it. Sophie stood. "You'll be okay. Maybe not today, but someday." I gave her a tired smile. "You always believe in someday. It's because I still believe in you. When she left, I finally let the silence swallow me. My reflection in the dark window looked like a stranger. I whispered to the empty room. She called it freedom. I called it betrayal. Asterisk 3 weeks. That's how long it took for people to start whispering her name again. I heard it first at the cafe near my old office. 2 women at the next table were talking too loudly. Olivia Cole. Yeah, she moved in with that businessman Ryan Hale. The cup nearly slipped from my hand. Ryan Hale, my ex-business partner. My so-called brother. I walked out before the coffee cooled. By the time I reached my car, I was already dialing Sophie. Ethan. Don't say it. I cut her off. Just tell me I'm hearing it wrong. She sighed. You're not. I tried to tell you before, but you wouldn't have listened. Living with him? Yes. My chest tightened. She didn't waste time. Ethan, I trusted him. Sophie. I built a company with him. I left him in charge when I traveled. I stopped myself before saying more. She spoke gently. Don't go there. How can I not? He called me his brother. I treated him like family. Then don't let him destroy what's left of you, she said. Walk away? Walk away? I laughed bitterly. You want me to watch them build a life on my ashes? Ethan, please. But I'd already hung up. The next day I drove to Ryan's new penthouse. I knew the security guard. Ryan hadn't changed the staff. He never liked doing things himself. Mr. Cole, the guard greeted awkwardly. I wasn't told I'm not here for business, I said. Walking past him, my heartbeat pounded louder with every floor the elevator climbed. When the doors opened, I saw her through the glass wall, Olivia, barefoot, laughing at something. Ryan stood beside her, wine glass in hand. For a second, I couldn't breathe. The way she laughed it was the same sound that used to fill our kitchen. Then she saw me. Her smile vanished. Ethan, she said, startled. Ryan turned, his grin fading into something tighter. Didn't expect a visit, man. Yeah, I said. I bet you didn't. Tried to sound casual. You could have called first. I wasn't sure betrayal required an appointment. Olivia crossed her arms. Don't do this. Do what? Walk into my partner's house and find my wife living here? Ex-wife, she corrected softly. I laughed, shaking my head. Right, you made sure of that. Ryan stepped forward. Ethan, listen, don't, I snapped. I listened to you for years. About deals, trust, loyalty. You used my words while sleeping with my wife. His jaw tightened. It wasn't planned. That's what cheaters always say. Olivia's voice trembled slightly. It just happened, Ethan. You were gone all the time. You made work your priority. So what? You fell into his bed by accident. She winced. You don't understand? I understand perfectly, I said. You wanted comfort. He wanted control. You both got what you wanted, Ryan smirked faintly. You always thought loyalty was a business strategy. Maybe you should have focused more on people. I stepped closer until we were eye to eye. And maybe you should have remembered who gave you everything you have. He shrugged. I made the company what it is. Funny, I said. That's what you'll tell yourself when it burns. Olivia grabbed my arm. Stop it. This isn't who you are. I looked at her hand, then at her. You don't get to define who I am anymore. She let go slowly. You're angry, I get it. But you'll move on. I smiled bitterly. You think I'll just forget that the 2 people I trusted most destroyed me? Ryan poured another drink. You'll thank me someday, brother. Don't call me that. Shrugged again, careless as ever. You were always too soft, Ethan. You build things, I take them further. That's why people follow me. Until they see what's underneath, I said. And they will. His expression shifted for the first time, just a flicker of doubt. Asterisk, Olivia whispered. Please, just leave. Don't worry, I said. I'm done standing in places I don't belong. As I turned toward the door, Ryan said, You're walking away because you lost. I paused, my hand on the knob. No, Ryan, I'm walking away because you already have. You just don't know it yet. Olivia looked down, tears starting to form. Ethan. I didn't turn. You wanted freedom, remember? Don't cry now that it's real. The elevator doors closed behind me. My reflection stared back. The same face, but something inside me had shifted. Sophie called again. I answered this time. Well? She asked. They deserve each other, I said quietly. She exhaled in relief. You didn't do anything stupid? No, I said, watching the city lights blur below. Not yet. What does that mean? It means they'll remember me, Sophie. Maybe not today, but they will, she sighed. Please don't go down that road. Then promise me one thing, she said. Whatever you're planning, make sure you still recognize yourself at the end. Her voice cracked a little. I almost told her I'd be fine, but lies were what got me here in the first place. I'll try, I said, and ended the call. The night air hit me as I stepped outside. Somewhere high above, Olivia was probably pretending she wasn't shaking. Ryan was probably pouring another drink, telling himself he'd won. They could keep their version of freedom. I'd keep my silence until silence became louder than their laughter, and when that day came, they'd remember what loyalty used to mean. Asterisk, the courtroom smelled like stale air and lies. I sat there, hands clenched, watching Olivia take the stand. Her eyes didn't meet mine once. The lawyer's voice echoed, Mrs. Cole, can you confirm that Mr. Ethan Cole approved the transaction leading to the loss of company funds? She hesitated. For half a second, I thought she'd tell the truth. Then she said, Yes, he approved it. The sound of her words hit harder than the gavel that followed. Ryan sat behind her, looking calm. To calm, my lawyer leaned toward me. We'll appeal, Ethan. Don't bother, I muttered. They've already written the ending. When the judge announced the verdict, it was over. The company I built from scratch, gone. My reputation shredded. The betrayal complete. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Mr. Cole, did you embezzle funds? Was your wife covering for you? Any comment about Ryan Hale taking over the company? Kept walking, ignoring them all? My silence would make better headlines than my truth. Weeks passed. My apartment was smaller than my old office used to be. The walls were thin, the silence was louder. I slept on a couch that creaked like it hated me every morning. Stared at the stack of unopened letters on the table, the only thing left from my mother. I'd avoided them for months, afraid of what they'd remind me of. One night, I finally opened one. Her handwriting was delicate, steady, like she still believed I'd do something great. People show their true faces when they think you can't rise again. That's when you'll see who was real and who was just waiting for the light to fade. I read it twice. The words burned, but they didn't hurt. Not this time. They sparked something. My phone buzzed. Sophie again. Ethan, please pick up. Her voicemail started. You can't keep hiding. They already took enough from you. Just don't let them take what's left. I deleted it, but her voice stayed in my head. That night, I sat by the window. City lights blinking like dying stars. I whispered to the empty room. You wanted me gone, Ryan. You wanted me humiliated. Congratulations. My own reflection stared back, tired and angry. But you forgot something, I said softly. I don't stay down. A week later, Daniel, my old lawyer, came by. Still breathing, he said, setting down a bag of takeout. Barely, I replied. He looked around. Oh, Ethan, this place is depressing. Fitting, isn't it? He sat down. Listen, I heard something. Ryan's trying to buy out all your remaining shares through a proxy. Wants to erase your name completely? I smiled faintly. Let him try. He's good at stealing things he didn't earn. Daniel studied me. You planning to fight back? Not yet. He frowned. You sound too calm. That's dangerous. I shrugged. I'm tired of burning bridges while standing on them. Before he left, he handed me a small envelope. A friend of mine's looking to invest in new startups. He doesn't care about rumors. Said he respects people who survive public execution. Named Jason Park. I kept the envelope unopened until midnight. Inside was a card. Meet me when you're ready to rebuild. Not revenge, redemption. I almost laughed. Redemption sounded like a fairy tale for people who hadn't been gutted alive. But his words lingered. Days later, I met him. A quiet man, early 30s, sharp eyes, steady hands. We met in a coffee shop that smelled like new beginnings. "Mr. Park?" I asked. He nodded. "Ethan Cole. Finally, you know who I am." "Everyone does," he said plainly. "But you're the man who lost everything." I smirked. "Great reputation to have." He leaned forward. "Or the man who knows what everything really costs." I studied him. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing. I want to invest in what you build next." I laughed. "You're not serious." "I have nothing. No company, no credibility, not even a decent suit." Jason smiled slightly. "Then you've got something Ryan never had. Humility. That's the foundation of real power." His words hit harder than I wanted to admit. "What makes you think I'll build again?" I asked. "Because you showed up," he said. "Broken men don't show up. Dead ones don't speak. You still do both." I looked down at my coffee. "I'm not sure if I want to build anything again." He shrugged. "Then build yourself first." The simplicity of it almost broke me. He stood to leave. "When you're ready, call me." "I'm not offering pity, Ethan. I'm offering partnership." After he left, I sat there staring at his card. The name Jason Park looked ordinary, but it felt like a door. That night, I read my mother's letter again. "When they think you're finished, smile quietly. That's when they'll show you who they really are." I folded the letter carefully and placed it on the table beside Jason's card. The apartment was still small, still quiet, but for the first time, the silence didn't feel like defeat. It felt like preparation. I whispered into the dark, "You took my company, Ryan. You took my name. But you didn't take my fire." My reflection in the window almost looked like it believed me. Maybe I did too. Jason's office was minimalist. One desk, 2 chairs, and a window that made the city look smaller than it really was. He handed me a folder. "You said you wanted a clean start. Here it is, a shell company. Unregistered name, full discretion." I flipped through the papers. "You make it sound easy." "It isn't," he said. "But you've done harder." I leaned back. "You really think people will invest in someone whose name's been dragged through every headline?" He smiled faintly. "They'll invest in results. Your past just gives the story weight." Studied him. "You always talk like you already know the ending." Jason shrugged. "Maybe I just picked the right people to start with." Days turned into weeks. Our days were long, nights longer. I handled design, logistics, client outreach. Jason handled the capital in silence. He never asked about Ryan or Olivia. But sometimes, when I caught him watching me work, I could tell he knew the fire behind every decision wasn't ambition. It was hunger, Sophie called one night. "You sound alive again," she said softly. "Alive's a stretch," I replied. "But I'm breathing." "Saw the article," she said. "Ryan's company just landed a new government contract." "You okay?" I paused. "Doesn't it bother you how easily liars rise?" She exhaled. "They rise fast. But fast things fall faster. Just keep building." Her faith irritated me sometimes, mostly because I needed it. "Thanks," I said. "For still calling. You don't have to thank me. Just don't disappear again." The new office was small, hidden in an old building downtown. I liked it that way, quiet, invisible. One evening, I found an old news alert about Ryan's company. The numbers didn't add up. Their growth was too fast to clean. Jason noticed my stare. "Something wrong?" "Depends on your definition of wrong." I turned the laptop toward him. "Revenue reports don't match their tax filings. Either Ryan's a miracle worker or a criminal." Jason leaned closer. "You plan to prove it?" "Not yet," I said. "But I'll start digging." He nodded. "Then dig smart." I started small public documents, leaked filings, investor records. At first, everything looked legitimate. Too legitimate. And then I saw her name, Grace Hale, listed as interim compliance manager, Ryan's sister. She had always been quieter than her brother, more cautious, more aware. I still remembered the last time I saw her, years ago, at a board party. She'd said, "Ryan doesn't build things. He collects them." I still didn't know whether it was a warning or an apology. I decided to meet her. She arrived at the cafe early, looking restless. "Ethan," she said, "you shouldn't have called me." "Then why did you come?" She hesitated. "Because I don't like what he's becoming." "Becoming?" I asked. "He's always been that way. You're just seeing it clearly now." She bit her lip. "You think you know him." "I do. He's the kind of man who smiles while twisting the knife." Wait, sighed. "He's hiding something. Large fund transfers, offshore accounts. He says it's expansion." "I don't believe him," and leaned forward. "You have access?" "Not direct, but I see the reports before they're cleaned up." "Oh, wait." Grace. "If you ever wanted to stop him, this is your chance," looked at me sharply. "You're not trying to bring him down, are you?" I smiled faintly. "Not yet." Her hands trembled. "If he finds out I talked to you, he won't," I interrupted. "You're just a sister checking on an old acquaintance." She stared at me for a moment, then slid a small flash drive across the table. "You didn't get this from me?" I picked it up quietly. "You just gave me light in a dark room." It's asterisk that night. I opened the files. Bank logs, internal memos, proof of illegal fund transfers. My pulse quickened. It was all there, the blueprint of his greed. Jason walked in, saw the glow of my screen, and asked, "You found something?" "More than something," I said. "Enough to ruin him." He crossed his arms. "You sound almost disappointed." "I'm not," I replied. "Just surprised at how easy it is to uncover rot when you know where to look." He studied me quietly. "So what now?" I closed the laptop. "Now, nothing." "Not yet." "Shh." Jason raised an eyebrow. "That's restraint." I smirked. "Revenge needs patience. Otherwise it looks like anger, and anger gets sloppy." He nodded approvingly. "Then we keep building?" "Yes," I said, while the cracks widened beneath his empire. Later, Sophie called again. "You sound different," she said. "I found proof," I admitted. "Ryan's dirty deeper than I imagined." "Are you going to expose him?" "Eventually, but not until it hurts." She was silent for a moment. "Ethan, don't lose yourself." "Already did once," I said. "Now I'm just reclaiming what's mine." Weeks later, Grace texted me. "He's getting reckless. He thinks he's untouchable." I replied, "Good, let him think that." Standing at the window of my small office that night, I looked out at the city lights, each one a lie waiting to burn out. Jason was right. Rebuilding wasn't just business. It was rebirth. I whispered to myself, to the ghosts of my failure, to the echoes of their betrayal. They wanted freedom. The words tasted cold. Steady, inevitable. "Let's see how it feels," I murmured, "when freedom starts to cost." Asterisk Mark called at midnight. "You might want to check your screen," he said. My laptop glowed in the dark, illuminating my half-finished coffee. "What am I looking at?" "The video," he replied. "Ryan and Olivia. Big fight. Very public." I opened the link. The footage was grainy, recorded from someone's phone inside a restaurant. Olivia's voice came first, slurred and sharp. "You think money fixes everything?" She shouted. "You lied to everyone, Ryan." He leaned forward in the clip, jaw tight. "Keep your voice down." "Why?" "Afraid people will hear the truth." She laughed bitterly. "You used Ethan? You used me?" I paused the video. My pulse slowed, then steadied. "Where'd you get this?" I asked. Mark chuckled. "Public submission. Someone recognized them, sent it in. I just gave it a little push online." Or I leaned back. "How long until it trends?" "Give it 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, the internet exploded. The golden couple of the business world undone by one leaked argument. The hashtags multiplied like sparks in dry grass, Sophie called. "You had something to do with this, didn't you?" I looked at the screen, showing Ryan's face frozen Majil. "Who, me?" "Ethan." Her tone carried both accusation and worry. "I didn't touch them," I said truthfully. "They're burning themselves." "You lit the match," she whispered. "Maybe," I said quietly, but I didn't force them to be flammable. Over the next few days, the cracks widened. Olivia's photos disappeared from their social pages. Ryan stopped making public appearances. A rumor spread, unpaid debts, false statements, a lawsuit brewing beneath the surface. I watched it all from my small office. It's the same one where my comeback had begun. Jason dropped a report on my desk. "You look entertained. It's just observing human nature," I said. He smirked. "Or revenge in slow motion. Is there a difference?" I asked. Jason studied me for a moment. "How's it feel?" I hesitated. "Quiet? Not satisfying?" "It is," I admitted. "But there's a taste of guilt in it, guilt." He said, "They destroyed you." "I know," I murmured. "But part of me still remembers what it was like to trust them." 2 weeks later, another video surfaced Olivia in tears outside their mansion. Cameras followed her, flashes blinding her as she shouted at the reporters, "Ask Ryan where the money went. Ask him who signed those fake reports." I turned off the TV, but her voice lingered in the room like smoke. My phone buzzed again. "Mark. Round 2, he said. "They're turning on each other." "You want me to dig deeper?" "No," I replied. "Let them keep talking. Truth sounds better when it's not forced." He laughed. "Cold, man. Real cold." "It's just efficient," I said. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Olivia's face, not the drunk one on screen, but the one that once smiled across a candlelit table, whispering that we'd build forever together. Forever had turned into a headline. Sophie messaged me. "You okay?" "I don't know," I replied. "Maybe this is what closure looks like. Does it feel like it?" She asked. Almost, I typed. Almost asterisk. Morning came with chaos. Ryan held a press conference, or tried to. The reporters drowned him in questions about missing investors and falsified audits. His calm facade cracked on live TV. "Enough," he shouted. "I built this company from nothing. You think one argument with my wife defines me?" One reporter shouted back, "What about the lawsuit from your shareholders?" Ryan froze. Cameras zoomed in. His silence was louder than any denial. I turned off the screen. "And there it is," I whispered. Jason looked up from across the room. "Downfall. The first collapse," I said. "The rest will follow." Later that evening, a new clip went viral. Olivia at a bar, glass in hand, mascara running. "He promised me everything," she said to some stranger holding a phone. "But he's worse than Ethan ever was." At least Ethan had a heart. Comment section loved that line. Millions of views in hours. I sat in silence, watching it loop. My name, once a mark of shame, now painted as the lesser evil. Jason entered quietly. "You could clear your reputation completely if you spoke up now." I shook my head. "No, I don't need to." "Why not?" "Because their truth is doing it for me." Sophie visited my office the next day. "You're watching them fall apart," she said softly. "How can you sit here like nothing's happening?" "Because it's not my fire," I replied. "I just stopped giving them water." She frowned. "You really think that's justice?" I looked at her. "No, it's balance." She sighed. "You're not the man I met months ago." "Maybe not," I said. "But I like this one better." By the weekend, the empire Ryan built was collapsing. Investors pulled out, creditors circled, the media devoured him alive. Olivia vanished from sight, rumored to be in rehab. Ryan released one last statement. "We were victims of betrayal." I laughed when I read it. He still can't see the irony. Jason poured 2 glasses of whiskey and handed me one. "Congratulations. You got your revenge." I stared at the amber liquid. "Did I?" He raised a brow. "Didn't you want to watch them fall?" "I did," I said. "And now that I have, it feels empty." "Because you wanted them to feel pain," Jason said. "Not absence." I nodded slowly. "Maybe both." That night, as I scrolled through the final headlines, golden duo in ruins, once lovers, now enemies. I closed the laptop and sat in the dark. I hadn't touched them. No confrontation. No threats. Just silence, patience, and truth. Revenge hadn't been about destruction after all. It was about watching lies collapse under their own weight. I whispered into the quiet, letting the words settle like ash in my chest. They built their heaven on sand, I said softly, and I just watched the tide roll in. The headline hit the news like a thunderclap. Ryan Hale arrested for corporate fraud. I sat in my office, coffee cooling beside my untouched laptop. The TV filled the silence. Reporters surrounded him as he was led into a black car, handcuffs flashing like silver reminders of justice. Jason whistled low. Guess karma doesn't do delays. It's right on time, I said quietly. He folded his arms. You sure you don't want to make a statement? People are already connecting the dots. No, I muttered. Let the story speak for itself. Sophie leaned against the doorway. You should feel happy, Ethan. You won. I glanced at her. Did I? She frowned. He's going to prison. Olivia's life is in shambles. What else could you want? Peace, I said. But that's the one thing revenge doesn't buy. The next day, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something in me hesitated. I answered, Ethan. Her voice froze me. Olivia. Pause followed, broken only by her trembling breath. You're still using the same number? Bad habit, I replied flatly. You shouldn't call me. I had to, she whispered. I didn't know who else to talk to. You could try your boyfriend, I said. Oh wait, he's busy making statements to the FBI. She flinched audibly. Don't do that, please. Didn't respond. I didn't know what he was doing, she said quickly. I swear, Ethan, I didn't. I exhaled slowly. You testified against me, Olivia. Lied in court. Don't tell me you didn't know. I was scared, she cried. Ryan said you'd ruin us both. I believed him, and you were right, I said coldly. Just not about who would do the ruining. Her voice cracked. You think I haven't paid for it? Everyone hates me. My friends won't even look at me. You called that freedom once, I reminded her. Silence filled the line, heavy as guilt. I didn't mean it that way, she said weakly. You did, I replied. You wanted out. You got it. Her breathing hitched. Ethan, do you still hate me? Yeah. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the city outside my window, gray, silent, almost mocking. No, I said softly. Hate would mean you still matter. The line went quiet. Then came the sound of her breaking small, raw sobs. I lost everything, she whispered. Ryan's gone. My family won't take my calls. I can't even walk outside without cameras chasing me. Now you know what it feels like, I said. To have your world burned by someone you trusted. I never stopped thinking about you, she said between tears. Not once. I almost laughed. That's your punishment, not my comfort. Please, Ethan, she begged. I don't want forgiveness. Just want to talk. One real conversation. No lies. About what? About how we ended. About what we could have been. What we could have been. Died the day you signed those papers, I said. And you called it freedom. She sobbed harder. I was angry, lost, stupid. You were selfish, I interrupted. That's all it ever was. You wanted more? So you left. Now you have it. More. She snapped suddenly. Do you think I wanted this? The humiliation? The loneliness? I stayed silent. I wake up every morning wishing I'd never left, she whispered. Wishing I'd stayed with the man who actually loved me. Her words hit like rain on glass, soft but constant. I didn't move. Ethan, can we start over? Shh, asked. That broke the quiet laugh out of me. Start over. You burned the bridge, then built a mansion on the ashes. I'm not asking for your love, she said quickly. I just need to know if there's a way to make peace. There's no peace where betrayal lives, I said. Only distance. After a long silence, she whispered, You sound different. I am. You used to fight for us. I used to believe we existed, I said. She took a shaky breath. If I could undo it all, I would. But you can't, I said. And I wouldn't let you. Her crying deepened. I wish I could hate you, she said. You already did, I answered. That's why you left. Grace came to see me 2 days later. She looked pale, exhausted. I came to apologize, she said quietly. For what your brother did? Asked. For not seeing it sooner, she replied. He fooled everyone, me, Olivia, even you. I nodded. He was good at pretending loyalty. She swallowed hard. I confronted him before they took him. He said he didn't regret anything. I frowned. Not even the people he destroyed. No, she said, tears welling. He blamed everyone else. He said you set him up. I looked away. He set himself up. I just stopped saving him. Grace bit her lip. You're not like him, Ethan. Don't let this make you cold. Cold is safe, I said. Warmth made me blind. When she left, the silence returned heavier than before. The world finally seemed balanced, yet my chest felt hollow. Sophie called later that night. You okay? I should be, I said. He's done. She's broken. Justice served. And yet? It doesn't feel like victory, I admitted. That's because you expected peace, she said softly. But revenge only leaves space, not comfort. Her words sank in. I turned off the lights and sat by the window, watching the city glow below. Somewhere out there, Olivia was crying in an empty apartment, and Ryan was staring at gray prison walls. Grace was alone, mourning a brother she couldn't forgive. And me. I had silence, the kind I once begged for. But now it just echoed. I poured a glass of whiskey and whispered to the night. They called it freedom. Now, they finally understand what it costs. The taste was bitter, not from the drink, but from everything left unsaid. Karma had done its job. But all I could feel was the emptiness of getting exactly what I wanted. Numbers are solid, Jason said, leaning over my desk. Investors are smiling again. We're officially out of the woods. I nodded, though my focus was somewhere beyond the spreadsheets. Good. Let's keep it steady. Growth without noise, he chuckled. You've changed, man. You used to chase every spotlight. I learned light burns if you stand too close, I said quietly. Sophie entered then, tablet in hand, eyes soft. The media wants an interview. You declined 3 already? I've had enough of stories built on lies. She hesitated. You deserve people to see your truth. My truth doesn't need witnesses, I said, a small smile tugging at my lips. It just needs peace. Jason took the hint and left. Sophie stayed, studying me. You still think about them? Sometimes, I admitted. Like checking a healed scar. It doesn't hurt, but you remember why it's there. Olivia's been seen working at Finage, she said softly. Receptionist. Someone sent me a clip. Froze. You kept it? I deleted it, she said immediately. You've moved on, Ethan. You don't need to reopen wounds. Maybe, I murmured. But some ghosts don't need permission to visit. Later that evening, I stopped by a cafe near the financial district. It wasn't planned. Maybe habit. Maybe fate. The place smelled like roasted beans and quiet regret. I ordered black coffee and found a corner seat. Then I saw her. Olivia stood at the counter, hair shorter, eyes tired, posture heavy. She was dressed simply, no jewelry, no glossed smile, just ... My heartbeat didn't spike. My hands didn't tremble. I only felt a strange stillness, like watching an old movie without sound. She looked up and froze. Recognition spread slowly, disbelief painting her face pale. I didn't look away. Neither did she. After a moment, she walked toward me. Hesitant steps. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Finally, she whispered, Ethan. Olivia, I said evenly. You look ... different. So do you. A faint, humorless smile touched her lips. Guess life evened us out. Yeah. Maybe it just showed us who we really were. She sat down without asking, fingers curling around her paper cup. I wanted to call you 100 times, but you didn't. I didn't know what I'd say. The truth, I said simply. Her voice cracked. The truth hurts. Lies hurt longer, I replied. She stared at me, tears trembling in her lashes. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. I know, I said quietly. She blinked. You do? Your silence said it years ago. I just wasn't ready to hear. Her shoulders slumped. Do you still hate me? I looked at her for a long time. The woman who once called my name with laughter now whispered it like a prayer. No, I said finally. Hate would mean you still matter. Her lips trembled. Then I don't. You did, I said. But I had to let go of the version of you that existed only in my hope. A tear slid down her cheek. Freedom wasn't what I thought it'd be. Never is, I said softly. It's just another word until you pay its price. She covered her face, crying quietly. Around us, the cafe hummed with life, people ordering, phones buzzing, spoons clinking. The world moved on. So did I. When her sobs faded into silence, I stood. Ethan, ... she whispered, reaching slightly forward. Please, I placed a few bills on the counter. For her coffee, I told the barista. As I turned to leave, she looked up, eyes red, lips trembling. I didn't speak. Neither did she. Words would have only broken what little peace that moment offered. Outside, the air smelled of rain and redemption. Cars passed, horns blared, but all I heard was the quiet thrum of acceptance beating in my chest. Sophie's voice echoed in my mind. You deserve peace. Maybe she was right. Maybe peace wasn't something found. Maybe it was chosen. I looked back through the glass. Olivia sat alone, staring at the untouched cup between her hands. For the first time, she looked small, not because she'd lost everything, but because she'd finally seen the truth. I turned away. My reflection in the cafe window didn't look like a man who'd won. It looked like someone who'd stopped fighting. As I walked toward the setting sun, the sky burned orange and gold, warm, distant, final, maybe. Freedom was never the point. Peace was. And for the first time in years, I finally felt it. Asterisk, I stared at the blank page for a long time before I finally began to write. Olivia, I don't know why I'm doing this. Maybe because words still have a way of healing me even when they're never read. Maybe because silence has said enough, and I just want to leave this piece of honesty behind. I'm not writing to blame you. I did that for years, quietly, furiously. Now, I just want to thank you. Thank you for breaking me. For teaching me that love without truth is just decoration. For walking away so I could learn how to stand. I used to think your betrayal ruined my life. Now I know it rebuilt it. You showed me who I was when I had nothing left, and somehow that man turned out stronger than I ever imagined. I stopped, pen hovering. My reflection in the desk glass looked tired but peaceful. You once called our ending freedom. I thought it was punishment. But now I see, maybe we were both right in our own ways. You wanted space to breathe. I needed space to become. I folded the letter carefully, feeling the weight of unsent words settle in my hands. No return address. No closure owed. Just truth. Finally quiet, I walked to the old cabinet in my study and opened the drawer, where my mother's photograph rested, her soft smile frozen in time. She always said pain teaches best when pride gets out of the way. Placing the letter beside her picture, I whispered, "You were right, Mom. Some losses are blessings in disguise." The room felt lighter, as if a shadow had finally stepped aside. Outside, wind brushed against the window pane, calm, steady, forgiving. I leaned back, eyes tracing the city lights through the glass. My reflection blinked once, a faint smile forming. I signed those divorce papers first, I said into the silence. She called it freedom, but it was my revenge. Silent, patient, complete. And for the first time, the word freedom didn't sound like loss.